Hey, my name is Andrew Pollock. I'm the CEO, co-founder of Rebel IQ. Excited to be here with you. Thanks, folks at TMC, for putting this on today. Um, Title of the webinar is The Third Dimension, and what we really wanted to focus on, it's an area that we've worked with LOs on for years. We're primarily known for lead generation conversion systems in the mortgage space. One area that always comes up because there's a connection there that a lot of folks seem to miss. It's how does lead gen and marketing tie into real estate agents? And if I'm trying to develop realtor partnerships, I'm not really a leads guy or leads gal per se. How do I connect these things in a way, or does it have to be one or the other, or how do I integrate these things? And we are big proponents of uh, these are highly complementary. If you're generating leads, if you start to develop consumer direct marketing systems or any type of ability to get to the consumer first before an agent does, that's a very valuable proposition to bring to agent relationships. So there's been a lot of effort on our part at Rebel IQ in just immersing ourselves in understanding the challenges that loan officers have with their realtors. And through that process, through a lot of conversations, consulting, talking to agents, we do have agents on our platform as well, and we're actually a part of the NAR Reach program, where they invited us as a handful of companies in 2022 to highlight Rebel IQ and kind of spotlight how we work with realtors. So that gave us that angle as well. And what we've really kind of focused on is, okay, so how do you bring these things together? If you're an LO, we understand some of the challenges you have. Agents are still today and will be for the foreseeable future a meaningful opportunity to get more deals, to get referrals, to grow your business. But the challenges that we've seen for LOs are they're consistent. It's separating myself as an LO from other LOs, differentiating myself, creating a unique value proposition, uh, doing outreach that feels meaningful. That's not just checking a box and going out for a coffee that doesn't end up going anywhere. So what we put together is a presentation today. Just it covers a lot of what I've just kind of shared as kind of the basis of why we're sharing these ideas with you. We've got some takeaways for you as well. It's really not really as much a sales pitch for what Rebel IQ can do as much of a just sharing our kind of thesis and our ideas around this stuff. And if it vibes with you, if you see it the same way and it feels like it kind of connects to how you are training your LOs or talking to your loan officers about helping them grow their business, obviously we'd welcome and love to have that conversation with you. But the third dimension really just opens up, what do I do next as a loan officer? Because this is a typical blocker that we have found time and time again when it comes to having tools. I've got production data I can access. There's a lot of good stuff out there. We're big fans of Model Match. But then you've got Redder, you've got MMI. There's different ways to recruit agents or find agents, figure out who's doing what in terms of deals and volume. So these are an area we find LOs are looking at consistently. Wallet share, how much of that agent's business am I actually getting? And there's a lot of times there's surprises there that we found with LOs when they start digging into the data. And they made an assumption that one of their agents was sending a vast majority of their business to them as an LO, and they found they're only getting kind of a sliver of it through the data. And then what's next happens with, okay, so I've got my list. I know who's a producer in my market. I know who's worthwhile. Um, I see how much of those agents' business I'm getting. So that's a critical data point. I know that there's room for improvement there. She's got another 14 realtors on her roster, or I should say loan officers on her roster that she's been sending deals to. I'm just one of those 14. I've gotten 3 out of 18 deals over the last 12 months. So how do I get more from that agent? And the question also is, well, how do you bring more value to that realtor? Not just how do you get more from them, obviously, but to unlock that, we've got to be able to create value and talk to them differently, bring something exciting to the table. So it's the what's next piece of this that we want to talk about today, and expanding from that third level of, okay, so you got your target agent list. What do I do now? How do I create some value? What's my strategy? What's my game plan? Because the other thing we're hearing from our LOs often is, I'm sick of making these calls. I've been told call my agents every Monday, and it's awkward. And these calls don't go anywhere oftentimes. So can we bolster that conversation? Can we bring something that gets the LO excited, increases their morale and their just enthusiasm about doing some of this outreach? Because that, plays a big part of it. If I'm going into a phone call, if I'm half defeated going into that call, the person can detect that energy oftentimes. So everything from the scripting to the, what is that value prop and how can you bring something to these conversations that's not just another shiny object. So what we put together today is just some ideas that you can share with your loan officers. And these are quick. You can implement them whether you're a client of ours or not. We've got some actual takeaways we're going to share with the group at TMC that, if there's anybody that wants access to some of this stuff we put together, we'll be happy to pass those. And obviously there's no obligation or anything for those pieces. But as far as understanding what differentiates you as a loan officer, what do the agents need? The bare bones. I know how to do a mortgage. I'm good at answering the phone. I'll respond to your calls. I've got access to competitive rates and some of these things. This is the stuff that LOs are finding has been falling on deaf ears. It's not a value prop. It's like table stakes. So we're trying to shift and reframe the conversation around more of, as an LO, understanding their business, bringing actual business value to these conversations, and creating pathways where referrals aren't just a one-way street from realtor to loan officer, but how do we actually refer business back and create opportunities back for real estate agent partners that are worthwhile, that we like working with, that are doing business, that looking at wallet share, I could easily be getting double or triple the amount of business from that agent. She's got deals to pass around, which just nobody's doing anything unique or different. So, she's just kind of doing the round robin thing. And then ultimately showing up as a partner, not just another vendor. So a couple things as far as, so how does Nello do that? Quick and easy stuff, doesn't cost money. It takes a little bit of time, but we've created some templates and stuff. Again, I'll be sharing with you that just give them a great starting point. There's copy and paste. It's literally, throw these things together, put them together in a way that's professional, but it's got you off the ground. You're not starting to build this out from scratch as an LO. So this is one of those pieces that we look at and we highlight for LOs when we're working with them, just to kind of start to getting them off the ground. We call this one the review gap report. So just looking at and doing some research on your agents. I've got my hit list. I know which agents I'm interested in working with. I'm going to spend 10, 15 minutes. Just let me look them up a little bit. Let me see what happens when I Google that agent online and look up, what is a consumer seeing when they're trying to find this realtor online? Does their Google business profile look strong? How is their Zillow page? Realtor.com is a profile often that when I Google an agent, it's like the number 2 result in Google. So even if the agent doesn't care about it too much or really think about it that way, it's just helping them understand that this is stuff people are finding when they're looking for you. And if we start to kind of look at how do you show up on these big premium platforms, your profile is on there, like it or not. They've set up a profile for you specifically so that they can place in Google when people are looking for you. So how optimized is that? How does your Yelp look? And just being able to create a win list for how that agent can kind of optimize and improve each of these profiles with just some, hey, best practices. Plug this link in here, get a couple more reviews on this thing, on this platform here specifically, that'll help you elevate and get higher rankings in your local market. Just a quick wins list. Here's the, gaps on some of these pages and profiles. This is what you can walk away with. And it just gives you an ability as a loan officer to have a conversation, create value. And again, just bring something to the table above and beyond. I've got great rates and service, send me a deal. And again, this is a takeaway, one of the 3 that we'll be sharing here after today's presentation. Review responses. This is mission critical. I can't tell you how often for both loan officers and real estate agents, they might have a lot of great reviews, and then you start to look around and click into the profiles, and the replies are a ghost town. Someone's gone through the effort of writing something great and putting something nice online about that business or about that professional, and we're finding that there's not even an acknowledgement. It's a quick win. The person that wrote the review will appreciate it, agents often don't really think about or realize that, hey, there's an impact here, not just on the customer who wrote the review, but it also will help bolster your profile and your ratings, especially in that local pack. So here are the top reviews that you have not responded to. We've actually got draft responses we've created for you. We've used AI to kind of put together how to do this for an LO. It's again in the second tool that we put together. But these are the quick wins that you can have and you can share with that agent. Just say, hey, I just took a look at a couple of these opportunities for you. Here's a few of the reasons that actually responding to these reviews is going to help you. And actually went ahead and I had my team put together something for you, at least as a starting point. I mean, you can just literally copy and paste these right in if you like these, or have your team or your admin do it. Or you can just kind of use these as a starting point. But I just want to share that with you because, you know, we're seeing some good results with our agents that we're working with in terms of how to kind of strengthen their profiles and build some of this stuff up. So we kind of put this together for you. Thought that'd be helpful because, you know, there's, I think, an opportunity here with how many great reviews you have, just to kind of put that kind of final piece on the receiving end of those reviews is that great response. So again, just bringing something unique, something of value, being able to have a conversation around something other than, have you got any deals for me? And just again, establishing more of a partnership and an alliance with agents, and bringing value first instead of, you know, a lot of times it's the hand is out, and LOs are kind of struggling with how do I bring that value? So another piece of the toolkit that we're offering, and this has been a win for our customers, especially the ones that are good on video, like firing up a Loom or a BombBomb, where they'll actually go through and just kind of do a quick customer journey and just kind of walk through a couple of the things that they're seeing, and commend obviously anything great. You know, I looked you up on Google, put in your name, the first thing that pops up is your site. That's a win. If you've got your own personal site as an agent, that's always a great thing. And some of the stuff I've said here today, we've got scripting and all that's actually built into each of these tools, just to help the LOs kind of walk through some of this stuff. But we're talking a 30-second, minute, maybe 2-minute long video at most, if you're comfortable with it. But just kind of walking through, here's what clients are seeing. Here's kind of what your brokerage page is doing. You know, if you don't have your own personal website as a realtor, all you have is the company page. Here's something to think about. A quick win as an agent is to just stand up your own personal site so that your only page online isn't the broker provided page. We have some opportunities to kind of help how we kind of work that angle and bring a solution there for our loan officers. If there's DM abilities on Instagram, obviously, but that's all there is. A link tree, a link to a lead capture or lead generation page is something that's critical. If the Zillow profile doesn't link to an actual landing page, it's just got a link back to the company profile. Same with realtor.com. So just a few of these talking points we built into the script. LOs, you know, it takes a couple of times to just get comfortable, and then they have something solid they can send out to their agents. Here's kind of what the customer sees when they're finding you. We've got some ways to help solve a couple of these things, but I just kind of wanted to walk through some of this with you. A lot of our agents have been getting value, just kind of someone looking at it from the outside perspective, because most of the time, you know, agents are doing business. Nobody's taking a step back and saying, hey, this is how the customer's kind of seeing some things. And I think if we plug a couple of these holes, you could get some wins. And obviously a listing, you know, 1 or 2 extra per year, extra business coming from the stuff you're already doing is always a win. So, you know, I think there's some low hanging fruit there as opportunities for you, and wanted to just share that with you. So again, tools, these are all provided. The whole playbook, the scripting, just kind of how to walk through all 3 of these is something we're providing to anybody who wants to share this stuff that's on this call that thinks they could add value for their loan officers. We'd be happy to obviously get that over to you.
Hey, Andrew, are you sharing your screen? Is there something that we should be seeing? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you know, I thought that was the first thing I did was click share. That would help.
Perfect. Thank you.
You'd think this wasn't my 1500th webinar, but here we are. Does that work? Do you see it?
Yes, great. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay, perfect. So most of what I've been saying, I think, has been just words to support what I've been saying. So I don't think there's been too much visual that you've missed. But this is tool number 3, customer walkthrough. Again, kind of walking you through what these tools are as far as the follow-ups that we'll provide to TMC to provide that to you guys as well. And then as far as framing some of this stuff, you know, again, I think I gave some examples, but here's just a little bit more of a, hey, did some research on your digital presence before coming over. You know, the opportunity with that is it signals some preparation, sets up a consultative tone. Here's what I found. This is what someone would see if they Googled you right now, kind of leads with insights. Let the data do the talking. Again, you can actually see this stuff and present it through these tools that we provided for you in terms of how to kind of put the stuff together. And you want help tighten this stuff up? I've got a marketing team, or I can help with just some of the tightening. Again, I've got the reviews stuff already written out for you. Some of the ways that we can actually not just point out issues, but also solve some of these problems or solve some of these opportunities for these agents is always going to be well received. Again, it's a partnership approach. It's collaboration, and it's framing this up as kind of the start to more of an alliance. And there's too many LOs out there just asking for business. We take a very different approach with our agents, and we're all about how can we help you win? How do we help you get more business? And even just that talking point and scripting has been super successful and impactful for our loan officers. One of my LOs actually calls it his chuckle script, because he opens up and he has a little bit of a chuckle when he's talking to agents about the idea that it just kind of boggles my mind that it's still a one-way street typically when it comes to loan officers and realtors. And by what I mean by that is agents referring business to LOs, and there's really usually not a whole lot happening back the other way. And we look at the relationship pretty differently. And here's kind of how we're doing some of that with you. So again, just kind of opening up these conversations. And one of the things we've found with that chuckle script is oftentimes you just kind of plant that seed, and the agent will start. Unfortunately, I mean, you might learn a couple of red flags about that realtor, but they'll start kind of laying into some of how they feel about those existing LOs they're working with, or they might just kind of share frustration that they have felt with the fact that they're hyper aware of the fact that they're referring business to these loan officers, and typically they get a coffee, they get donuts. There's just not a lot of reciprocity in that respect. And obviously within RESPA, constraints, there's only so much you can do, but that's why we've developed a way and a system to say, hey, our value add back to this relationship is fulfilling our end of the bargain, not just being great at doing loans and communication and having, competitive products and services, but also going above and beyond in terms of actually helping our agents grow their business. And that's just kind of where we take things to the next level. And I'd love to have that conversation with you, see if you're open to it, and with the understanding that any good agent already has loan officer relationships. Like that's, I think, one of the struggles that LOs have is how do I disrupt those existing relationships? And on the flip side, what I often hear is, these agents aren't loyal, and for us, it's like, well, there's kind of two different sides to that. If they're not loyal, but they've got loan officers, well, you just have to bring something of value and try to disrupt that relationship and make it something that lasts and not just some shiny object that, doesn't stick. So as far as framing conversations, again, scripting, training, all this stuff is provided by us. And we're trying to just flip kind of the posture, flip the script, from please give me referrals to let's build something together. From I'm a good loan officer to I can help bring you more business. Chasing any agent who will talk to me, which LOs are oftentimes, there's agents I would rather never talk to again, but I'll take her call and I'll do the deal because I don't have the liberty, or I should say, I don't have the luxury of being able to kind of pick and choose who I want to work with. So, bringing that kind of to this conversation has been important and kind of liberating for our loan officers. And from a vendor that's kind of begging at the door to, hey, I'm a consultant, I'm a partner, I've got a seat at the table. We're leveling the playing field. We're peers. It's not me as a loan officer beneath you. Like, we're level setting here the relationship. And then the other value add component is leverage, leads. I brought you some cool stuff. I've trained you on some different opportunities and ways I can help you grow. Besides that, we're doing marketing. We're doing lead gen. We're consistently bringing in clients. I'm bringing in buyers. A lot of those buyers are also sellers. I'm bringing clients in that we're talking to that consistently need to be introduced to a good realtor in the local area. Love to kind of have a conversation and see if we're a fit, and qualifying the realtors around, their ability and experience with lead gen and leads in general. There's a lot of good agents out there who maybe they're just referral based and leads are not necessarily something they're going to be good at working. Doesn't mean it's a realtor you don't want to work with, but there's just ways to kind of understand which agents are going to be a good partner for marketing and lead gen and co-marketing together versus, hey, that's a good agent. We work together. We're doing some other stuff, but if I send her a lead or I send him a lead, he's only going to call it once or twice. And if it's not ready to go, he's not going to be interested. So just understanding kind of how to segment those agent relationships. Again, our training, our coaching, our kind of involvement with these steps is critical for LOs just to make sure they're having the right conversations with the right realtors, and we help them kind of understand how to break these things up. You're not relying on realtors, you're not desperate. All of a sudden, you become a better partner and a more attractive partner to these realtors. It's kind of funny how that paradox exists. You get to pick the agents you want to work with. It's the ultimate value add. I've got listings, I've got buyers, I'm generating business. I'm not one of these LOs that's just got his hand out asking for referrals. So just, again, the scripting piece has been critical until LOs, once they hear it a couple of times, they start to do it on their own. They start to get pretty good at this stuff, especially the good salespeople. So that's been just kind of fun to see. And they come back to us with some of the lines that they've been using. We add it to our library. So that's, again, part of it. And then just expertise transfer. You can help agents grow their business, and you can leverage us as your partner at Rebel IQ as a loan officer. So you don't really have to be a marketing expert. We'll set you up to shine. We're just kind of in the background, but we don't want you to feel like all of a sudden you have to be an internet marketing wizard to be able to bring some of these conversations and this value to your loan officers. We want you to really focus on closing loans, but this will just kind of strengthen your ability to go out and have some of these conversations that can prove to be meaningful. So we call it the hybrid loan officer. It's the ability to generate leads, self-source business, not rely on realtors, but suddenly, magically, you become a better referral partner. You become more interesting to realtors. You become less desperate. Therefore, your conversations are more effective when you're talking to agents. So we're kind of combining the best of both of these and bringing them together. You don't have to pick one or the other. The most effective way, we think, is to combine them and use the power of your own marketing and leads to strengthen your referral partnerships and relationships, and kind of use any leverage you can have with the lead generation to have some of these conversations with agents, along with some of these tools, these insights, and these methods that you can use to bring value to these realtors. Combining these things together has been extremely powerful. New conversations, obviously, with new realtors, developing and building stronger existing agent relationships. You pick what matters to you most, and we can help you kind of develop a strategy around it. We're big fans of start with who you know, who you're comfortable with, who you have a relationship with, but you're just not getting enough business from, versus just going, completely after new realtors you've never spoken with before. It's a little bit of obviously a different dance, depending on which type of agent you're talking to. Again, we coach, we train, we consult on all this stuff. We have scripting for all of it. And then when it comes to scale, so how do I do this at scale? How do I, as a loan officer, doing the walkthrough is cool, doing some of the review gap analysis. You guys, at Rebel IQ provide me with templates that'll make it easier. Is there a way we can kind of push button deploy? Is there a way we can take this thing even further and create really an established professional presentation around some of this stuff? And the answer is yes. What I've shared today and the deliverables that I'll share with the TMC team is just one part of it. That's just kind of the entry point. But we do have a product and an offering that kind of takes this and puts it on steroids. So I'm going to flip out temporarily of the deck. I'm going to walk you into kind of what we call a digital SWOT analysis. So that assessment, that analysis, when I'm talking to an LO and they share with me a realtor that they're working with, I Google, I'm looking at what's coming up, what's their website look like, who built their website, how many reviews do they have, is there actual lead generation tied into it, what do their profiles look like online, what does the AI online say about them when I try to find them? Like, getting a good understanding of their digital presence is that next level dimension that we've introduced kind of in the first part of the presentation today. This is where we take it and we say, can we turn this into a product that makes us look professional, makes us look prepared, makes it so it's literally point and click for the loan officer to create a custom, highly detailed assessment of their agent's online presence, as well as not just point things out, but also fill it in with solutions that help fill the gaps of what we're going to present to those agents. So this is an example of what that looks like. And I know our time is running a little short, so I'll just kind of go through a few of the slides here. It's all fully customizable, colors, logo, branded with the loan officer's info, who it's for. Each agent obviously gets their custom SWOT analysis. It's an online link. They can look at it on their mobile phone. You can share it with them. You can walk through it with them. That is our number one way to do this. We've got LOs having agents come to their office, putting it up on their big screen, in some cases going to that agent's office with the broker, with the real estate team, kind of looking at this stuff together, just excited to have that opportunity to have that agent's attention and to look at something that's unique and valuable that they care about. And again, our scripting helps kind of position how to have these conversations. And we just get into some stuff in terms of framing why this matters. This isn't nice to have when you're in an industry where one or two deals is tens of thousands of dollars or more potentially. Losing a deal or two because you don't have the right system in place, it becomes costly really quick. So we want to frame this right. We go into SEO, a custom analysis that kind of helps the agent see this is what Google's looking like. These are the keywords people are typing in. This is what actual consumers are seeing. There's an analysis here that'll kind of read out to them and help them understand. Zillow's number 3, Realtor.com's number 4. People looking for you are getting hijacked by these giant portal sites. Let's talk about how we can solve and correct some of this stuff, because this is the stuff that's kind of happening behind the scenes that you're unaware of. Nobody, calls to tell you, but we got to plug some of this stuff because there are, ways that we can address and optimize some of these things better than they are right now. So just being able to have that conversation, again, it's an attention getter. Google Business Profile, we look at their actual profile analysis, their website, their Facebook, their Instagram, their Zillow. It's, again, highly detailed, highly customized for each agent. Loan officers can see who's engaging, how many screens they've looked at, how far into the assessment they've gone into. So all of that's actually available to them on the back end as far as analytics is concerned. And again, we train our LOs on how to walk through some of these things together with their realtors. And before you know it, they're off on their own and they're successful actually presenting this stuff, having conversations, with the ultimate goal being the tools on the back end that we can provide that are co-branded: landing pages, lead forms, mortgage calculators that have AI built into them, some really cool things that we're kind of bundling in with these solutions to actually plug the holes for the realtors. And I know we're at probably at a couple minutes away from time, so it's a lot to kind of pack into the 30 minutes. So I'll just kind of flip back to the presentation. And again, if you saw anything you're interested in discussing with us further, we can go in a little bit deeper, talk to you about how something like this could look for your loan officers or for you if obviously you're originating and you're on this call. We'd love to kind of work with you and kind of show you what that looks like. The SWOT system, again, is the productized version of what we shared today. And if you're interested, here's what happens next. Schedule a call. We'd love to just kind of prove it out and talk you through kind of what this could look like, even create a SWOT or a few SWOTs for your agents. Maybe we pick your top 5 loan officers, say, hey, let's build what this would look like for that loan officer, and let them have the conversation with the agent, see if the agent's interested. I have not had one opportunity where an agent that's actively in the business has said, no, I wouldn't care to see that. That doesn't sound interesting to me. So, obviously, just that has been a great starting point for our teams, our clients, and our LOs, just to kind of start to see what the reaction's like. And that ability to just do the outreach to those agents has been very popular. So opening that up to anybody on the call today. We'll do the SWOT, and then you'll walk away with something you can deliver literally this week to agents and just have those outreach calls. If not, again, the deliverables I shared on the first part, we'll share with TMC so you guys can get your hands on those. But if you'd like something a little bit more deep and impactful, then we definitely invite you to reach out to our sales team. We can talk about the pricing, the strategy, scripting, just what this all looks like. So we'd love to have that conversation with you. No, I'm going quick here, but I think we got about a minute left, and I think I got it right on time. So we'd love to. Two. Sweet. All right. So reach out, sales@rebeliq.com. You can also reach me at andrew@rebeliq.com, but would love to have the conversation with you and see if anything here kind of vibed with you, and then kind of maybe walk through what an implementation would look like.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Andrew. Yeah, definitely ways in order to take it to the next level, take it to that third dimension. Really appreciate all that you shared. Just for the folks, there will be a follow-up email that'll come out. It's going to have a link to the recording, and it sounds like Andrew's going to share his deck with us so that we can share that with you as well. Thank you all so much for being here. You're on TNC Connect, and we appreciate your time today. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks, Andrew.
Tony.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.